Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Raphael Varane injury blow. Raphael Varane came off injured in France's Nations League final against Spain. Varane went down holding his leg. He was replaced by Dayot Upamecano in the 43rd minute. So Varane could be a doubt for the game against Leicester at the weekend. Varane has done really well since he come to Manchester United, but in his last two games he's looked a bit off the pace. We got Varane in a deal worth 41 million with add-ons included. We paid like 34 million up front. Varane is under contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. Varane to Manchester United was official just before kick-off against Leeds, which was the opening day. Varane is regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world. He's highly experienced and he's got a very good pedigree as a player because he won a lot of trophies, Varane, when he was at Real Madrid. Not only that, he was a long-serving player when he was at Real Madrid. He endured 10 years with them. We've also got Harry Maguire injured. Solskjaer said not so long ago he's going to be out for a few weeks. Now I want to give you some more news on Paul Pogba. Paul Scholes has backed Pogba to stay at United. Paul Scholes has said that Paul Pogba should be delighted to play football in England as the Premier League is the best in the world. Scholes said that Real Madrid, Barcelona are a mess. Now it said last week that Paul Pogba wants to stay at Manchester United and he wants to sign a new £400,000 a week contract that will make Paul Pogba one of the best paid players at the club. Paul Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Before the start of this season, Pogba rejected a new Man United contract. Earlier on this season, it said Pogba's very likely to leave Man United on a free next summer. The other week, it said Man United set Paul Pogba deadline. It said we want Paul Pogba's future to be sorted by Christmas. Recently, Paul Pogba refused to rule out a Juventus return after France beat Belgium. Paul Pogba did admit he always speaks to his ex-Juventus teammates. Paul Pogba must take a big pay cut if he wants to join Juventus in the summer. Italian outlet La Gazzetta dello Sport said that Juventus are prepared to offer 10 million in yearly wages to sign Paul Pogba from Manchester United. Earlier on this season, Paul Pogba's agent Mino Raiola suggested that Paul Pogba could return to Juventus from Man United on a free next summer because Mino Raiola did mention that Turin is still in Paul Pogba's heart. Pogba's had a long running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid, PSG have been in for him. Don't forget, PSG are prepared to offer Paul Pogba £510,000 a week in wages. PSG wanted him in the summer transfer window this year, but they couldn't get him because they got Lionel Messi. Barcelona have also been in for Pogba, and Inter Milan have been in for him before. But I hope he stays at Manchester United because Pogba's a key player and he's an imperative player as well. He's enjoyed a good start to the Premier League season so far. Pogba has got 7 assists. He produced good performances for Man United in the last couple of months of last season, but at one point last season, he was out with a thigh injury for a while and he sustained a couple of ankle injuries at Man United. This season is Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he rejoined. He's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid 89 million for him, and Pogba's won 3 trophies at the club so far. We had him when he was a lot younger under the Sir Alex Ferguson era, but had to let him go due to limited appearances. I am expecting Manchester United to sell quite a few players next year. I think Anthony Martial is going to be going. Martial is finished at Manchester United. Surprisingly, Martial played against Everton before the international break. He scored in that game. That was his first goal for Man United since February. Put a pretty good performance out against Everton. Martial also played against West Ham in the Carabao Cup, but he struggled to make an impact in that one. As you all know, Newcastle want Anthony Martial. Recently, Newcastle made formal contact with Martial's representatives. Newcastle are planning to spend big after the Saudi Arabians took over. Man United will demand close to the 54 million they originally paid for Martial back in 2015. There's quite a few clubs in for Martial. It says Barcelona are considering making a move for him next year. Martial's been a long-term target for Tottenham. Atletico Madrid were in for him last summer. Martial rejected the chance to join Lyon on loan on deadline day, don't forget. And before the start of this season, it said Inter Milan wanted Martial to replace Lukaku because Lukaku went back to Chelsea. But before the start of this season, it said Solskjaer refuses to sell Anthony Martial as he remains part of his plans. Solskjaer seems to have a lot of trustworthy in Martial. Don't forget Solskjaer was the one that gave him that number 9 shirt. Martial's been at Manchester United for 6 years. He's scored 79 goals in all competitions. He's got 3 years left on his contract. The best season I recall Martial having was his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Last season Martial was out with a knee injury for a while. Cavani, I'm expecting him to leave next year. I can't say I want Cavani to leave though because Cavani has made an impact since he's come in. Cavani's hold-up play is good. He's good at creating chances. He's very good at scoring goals and his movement in and around the box is good. Cavani played against Everton before the international break. Had a very good chance from a downward header but produced a good save from Jordan Pickford. Cavani has got under a year left on his contract. It was back in May Cavani signed that 1-year contract extension and Cavani is on over £200,000 a week. Earlier on this season Cavani was out with injury. Cavani's lost his place in the team now with us re-signing Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, the other week it said Real Madrid want Cavani on loan in January, and I presume Barcelona will reignite their interest in January because Barcelona try to get Cavani on deadline day in the summer transfer window. I'm expecting Juan Mata to leave next year. Juan Mata's contract at Man United expires next summer. Earlier on this year, Juan Mata signed that 1-year contract extension. I can't understand why we extended his contract for another year, because Juan Mata doesn't get in R11, plus he's lost that yard of pace and he's ageing up. But despite all of that, Juan Mata has had a good career at Man United, Juan Mata's been at Man United for, 7.5 years, so he's been a long-serving player. He's made over 200 appearances for us in all competitions. Back in 2014, we got Juan Mata for 40 million from Chelsea, and the first part of last season, Juan Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Lingard, I think he'll go next year. Donny van der Beek, and I'm expecting him to leave next year. He'll probably go in January, because Donny van der Beek isn't getting enough game time at Manchester United. I'll revert back to what I've said before. Solskjaer should be starting Donny van der Beek, especially in the Premier League, because Donny van der Beek is a good player, but I haven't really had much of a perception on him at Man United. Newcastle want Donny van der Beek. There's a few players that Newcastle want from us. Everton remain interested in Van der Beek. Sky Sports News said that not so long ago. Don't forget Everton were close to signing Donny van der Beek on loan, but Solskjaer rejected Van der Beek's exit. Calcio Mercato have said Juventus want him, and Barcelona also want him. Donny van der Beek's agent is said to be working hard on finding a new club for his client. The other week, Donny van der Beek was furious with Solskjaer as he was left on the bench in Man United's win over Villarreal. Van der Beek was spotted throwing chewing gum in the dugout. And it said Donny van der Beek will try to force a January transfer away from Man United following his Villarreal meltdown. Earlier on this season, Van der Beek told Solskjaer his best position. He reckons he'd be best served operating as a number 6 or as a number 8. And don't forget, earlier on this season, Van der Beek spoke about his Man United future in an exclusive interview with Rio Ferdinand. This season's Van der Beek's second full season at Man United. We got him in a deal worth 40 million with add-ons included. He's under contract with Man United till 2025, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Fred, I also want him to leave next year because Fred isn't good enough to represent the club. We overpaid for Fred, got him in a deal worth 50 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. I'm expecting Tellez to leave next year because Tellez doesn't really get in our team. He only played recently because Luke Shaw had a minor injury and he had illness. The reason we brought Tellez in was to provide competition for Luke Shaw, but since we've brought Tellez in, we've got the best out of Luke Shaw. We got Tellez for 15.4 million from Porto. Dalot, I think he'll go next year. Dalot is our backup right back to Wan-Bissaka. Dalot did play against Villarreal only because Wan-Bissaka was suspended. He was poor against Villarreal, but Dalot played well against West Ham in the Cup. Last season, Dalot had a loan spell with AC Milan, so reflecting on that, he gained some experience. We got the lot 3 years ago from Porto. We paid 19 million for him. He's got a contract with Man United till 2023. Phil Jones and Eric Bailly, I think they'll also leave next year. And Amad Diallo could be going out on loan next year. Recently, I've been talking with you a lot about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under pressure because we are winless in our last 2 league games, and we have only won 2 of our last 6 games in all competitions. But despite that, Manchester United are still fully committed to Solskjaer and have no plans to replace the club legend as manager, despite a topsy-turvy start to the season. Solskjaer received very good backing in this year's summer transfer window. John Murtough backed him. John Murtough recently said we need to keep control and we will not deviate from the plan. We made the right decision getting John Murtough in because, like I've mentioned before, we needed a director of football because I mentioned that's one of the structural changes we needed at the club. Darren Fletcher also backed Solskjaer. We certainly made the right decision recommending Darren Fletcher back in. Darren Fletcher knows the club through thick and thin. He endured 2 decades as a player for Man United. Woodward has also backed Solskjaer. Well, Woodward did mention a long time ago that he'd backed Solskjaer and he assured that Solskjaer's job was safe, even when we was enduring them really bad periods, when he was close to getting sacked. Woodward is leaving Man United. It got announced he was leaving back in April when that European Super League came into the equation. Ed Woodward has had a 16-year association with the club. And the Glazers also backed Solskjaer, but only because they'd been persuaded to. It said not so long ago that the Glazers are selling 8% of Manchester United and the shares worth 137 million. Like I said to you before, will the Glazers sack Solskjaer? Well, not so long ago the Glazers were unhappy with Solskjaer because of 3 players. The main reason the Glazers have been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time is because they've put Man United in so much debt. They've been with us for 16 years, the Glazers. They purchased the club for 500 million back in 2005. And you know what? Man United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window because Solskjaer got the players he wanted to recommend in. We brought 4 players in the summer transfer window. We brought Tom Heaton in on a free from Villa, brought Jadon Sancho in from Borussia Dortmund, brought Varane in from Real Madrid, and we re-signed Cristiano Ronaldo after 12 years. We spent 141 million in the summer transfer window. Solskjaer's endured 5 transfer windows now as permanent Man United manager. But like I say, the vast majority of Manchester United fans are Ole out. Maybe there's still some Man United fans that are Ole in. Well, the Daily Mail said not so long ago that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future could depend on the next 10 games. We have got tough games coming up. A lot of United fans have got strong reservations about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's decision making. Analysing the vast majority of the games Solskjaer's managed at Man United is being tactically naive. But there's been some games where he's showed tactical flexibility, but he's got to do that persistently. And like I said yesterday to you, Solskjaer's tactics got slammed by Danny Blind, who is the Holland assistant and the father of ex-United player Daley Blind. I had to agree with what he said though, to be fair. Solskjaer hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, which is a concern. Before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. He endured 2 spells at Molde, and before Molde he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was disastrous. The reason he got sacked from Cardiff is because he got them relegated. But I revert back to what I've said so many times before. Solskjaer has to win a trophy at Manchester United, I'd say this season, to save his job. He's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager, and we haven't won a trophy since 2017. And a few weeks ago, Solskjaer did mention that we must leave a legacy of silverware. Well, we know Solskjaer's ambition for this season is to win the Premier League. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, that's 8 years ago now, and we should be winning the league because we've got a title winning squad. Our squad is worth around 805 million, and earlier on this season Solskjaer told his current Man United squad that it's better than the 1999 treble winning team that Ole was part of. Like I said to you yesterday, Solskjaer is struggling to handle a massive Man United squad. This season is Solskjaer's 3rd full season as Man United manager. And I did say at the start of this season that this season was going to be massive for him because Ole has got big expectations to exceed. In the summer, Solskjaer signed a new contract with the club until 2024. There's an option of a further year, and like I mentioned, we made a mistake giving him that new contract, because I can assure you he won't see it out, and a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. Obviously our board must think Solskjaer's a long-term manager. But if we do decide to eventually sack Solskjaer, who will come in to replace him? Now, obviously, you've got some Man United fans that want Antonio Conte to replace Solskjaer. You've got some Man United fans that want Zidane to replace Solskjaer. You know, if Solskjaer does get sacked, he will be the 4th permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson. Because since Ferguson, we sacked 3 managers. We sacked Moyes, Van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. In December, Solskjaer would have been in charge of Manchester United for 3 years. I'm surprised he's still Man United manager, but like I've mentioned before, the reason he's still Manchester United manager is because he's a legend of the club. So that's what's basically saved his job. Solskjaer got appointed in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. He's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. The reason we gave him the job permanently back in March 2019 was reflecting how well he did as the interim manager. Solskjaer has signed 14 players as Manchester United manager. In the summer of 2019, he recommended Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January 2020, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odi Nagalo in on loan. In the summer of 2020, he brought Edison Cavani in, Donny van de Beek, Alex Telles, Amad Diallo and Facundo Pellistri. And in this year's summer transfer window, he brought Tom Heaton in, Jadon Sancho, Raphael Varane, and we re-signed Cristiano Ronaldo. So yeah, we've spent like 441 million so far under the Solskjaer era. Ollie's also got rid of a lot of players since he's come in, which he knew he had to do. You know, he's loaned quite a few players out. So the players he loaned out in the summer transfer window, he loaned Ethan Laird out, Facundo Pellistri, Brandon Williams, Tahith Chong, Andres Pereira, and Axel Tuanzebe. A lot of the players Ollie's got rid of permanently. Obviously, offloaded Daniel James in this year's summer transfer window. He was the only player we sold in this year's summer transfer window. That was disappointing from a Man United perspective. Ollie also offloaded Borthwick Jackson and James Wilson. In January, he offloaded Fossa Mensah, Rojo, and Igalo. Ollie also released Sergio Romero and Joe Pereira. Ollie also got rid of Ashley Young, Valencia, Smalling, Darmian. Also got rid of Fellaini back in January 2019. He offloaded Ander Herrera, Angel Gomez, Sanchez and Romelu Lukaku. So they're a lot of the players he's got rid of permanently. I do like the way Solskjaer develops the youth. Seems to have a lot of trustworthiness in his young players. Solskjaer's more or less giving everybody their chances to express themselves, including the young players, like he showed he would do when he got appointed in as Man United manager. And you can say that progress has been made under Ollie. Now Ollie's got us to semi-finals. He got us to 3 semi-finals in his first full season. Last season got us to the EFL Cup semi-final. Last season got us to the FA Cup quarter-final. Last season got us to the Europa League final, and that was his first major final as Man United manager. But unfortunately we didn't win it. But there you go. And last season Ollie got us a second place finish, and in his first full season got us a third place finish. But in general, you've got to turn around and say Solskjaer has done a pretty good job to say the current squad he was left with when he got appointed in as Man United manager, because he was inheriting a lot of deadwood and he's still inheriting some deadwood now. I didn't expect Solskjaer to do as well as he has done, so in that aspect, I am shocked. Ollie knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. You know, Ollie's managing one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest, and Ollie knew he had a hell of a lot to do when he came in. Despite me criticising Solskjaer a lot, I still think he's our best manager since Ferguson. Well, he's our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.